causes of marital delays so far, 7 causes. So this is the concluding part by the grace of God. So we have looked at financial incapacitation, we've looked at difficulty in locating a suited partner, and then we also considered parental control, and then we also considered pricey dowry and wedding demands. Then we also considered cheap access to sexual gratifications, and the last few sessions we had, about 3 consecutive sessions, that one we spoke about demonic forces, how demonic forces also bring about delay in marriage for some people. So under that, we looked at the the spirits, the demons, who are responsible for that, and we examine telepathic powers, how to overcome telepathic powers, especially when it's time for you to get married. So that was the last thing we examined, and I spoke about telepathic dreams also, and I shared my personal experience, how I conquered my telepathic experience. So, so this is the concluding part of this, wonderful live session on how to overcome causes of marital delay. So today, like I said earlier, we are going to be looking at 3 things that will ruin your chances of getting married early. 3 things that will ruin your chances of getting married early. That is what we want to consider. 3 things that will ruin your chances of getting married early. Now, so let us dive into this message. The first thing that is capable of ruining your chances of getting married early is the thing at hand. The thing at hand. Now, this cause of delay is most times deliberate by an individual, or rather necessitated by something important in which an individual is currently engaged in. Sometimes it could be an academic pursuit or that of a business. Now, I have personally seen singles that are determined not to be in a relationship until they badge their doctorate degrees or until their businesses have attained some certain levels. I have equally seen national and international gospel ministers whose hectic ministerial schedules did not permit them to settle down for marriage. And for some, it could be an assignment given to them by God that must be fulfilled before being permitted to raise a family. The thing in hand is one of the reasons why some well-to-do individuals in our societies are yet to be married, or sometimes engaged, even when they are obviously overripe for marriage and seemingly have all it takes to raise a family. Now, the thing at hand, the thing at hand is one of the reasons why many people experience delay in marriage. What is this thing at hand? We have some, individuals who have set a kind of goals for themselves, that okay, I must attain this goal before I start considering getting married. And the years may be, running by, they may be getting aged, but because they are yet to achieve that particular goal of theirs, they won't consider, getting married or settling down. And this is why we have, these people in their late 30s, middle 40s, you know, who are not even thinking about marriage. In fact, some of them are in overseas, they are working hard, working, daily, to achieve their dreams, to achieve their goals. Like I read, you have seen some people, who after doing their first degree, they say, okay, I must, until when I have my PhD, my doctorate degree, that is when I can start thinking about getting married. So this is one of the reasons, and I want to say this here, because you know, uh, most of this reason when it comes to the thing at hand, they seem to be self-inflicted. And in this case, if you come across this video and you know someone, maybe your sibling, or maybe your cousin or your nephew, or maybe somebody, that he or she is well to do, has finished his or her degree, maybe first degree, and is gainfully employed. But he or she still says, okay, I still have a particular goal, or maybe I want to, once I have done this, once I have achieved this, and age is not on their side. You may want to do well to call these people and share your own perspective, or give them some valid reasons why they need to settle down as early as possible. Because like I've said over in my live sessions, there are benefits, there are advantages of getting married early, and of course there are disadvantages. There's nothing that has advantage that doesn't really have that doesn't have disadvantages most of the time. Yes, but in this case, when you see someone, especially a lady, especially if the person is a lady who he or she is in her late 30s or middle 40s, and he or she is still pursuing one career or maybe one degree. I'm not talking about first degree now. And that is why you see some ladies, especially here in Nigeria, once you know they are done with their degree, even before some of them goes to serve, they get married, because there is a positive side of getting married early. There is a positive, especially for a woman. It is very important. So for those who are who are not engaged and who have not considered the options of getting married, especially because they had a particular target. There are some young men who will say, no, I must be a millionaire in dollars. Oh, I must have 5 companies. These things are very, very good, because the truth of the matter is, once you actually get married and you settle down, you don't always have the time. Your time will be reduced. A lot of things will start coming into your space. That is the fact. That is the fact. Yes, when you are single, you have some freedom, some time to yourself. But at the same time, there's if you have done the most important thing in your during your singleness as a single person, which is having a degree, you have a job, or you started your business. Those are the basics, the foundational things. You can always cope, or just plan yourself after getting wedded or getting married. You can always continue with some other things. Yes, that's you can always cope, even after you are married, and you can always cope in doing them even after you're married. So this is a clarion call to, if you are, maybe you are the person I'm talking about. Maybe you're a young man or you're a young woman. You are ripe for marriage. You are ripe for marriage, and then you even have suitors, or probably you're even engaged, but you kept your partner waiting, and you kept telling them, okay, just give me time, let me be done with this, let me be done with that, and once I'm settled, then we can now start talking about our marriage. I think you may need to give this a second thought at this particular moment. Yes, because you never can tell. You never can tell. One thing I've always said is this: if you get married at the age of 40, you know, think of the next 25 years. As at that time, you're going to be 65. So that means your first child, either a male or a female, will be 25 at that time. Will be 25. And let's say you have a minimum of 2 or 3 children. So maybe your second child, by the time you are almost 70, that is when your children will just be about starting out their life. So you really need to look at these things very well. It's quite important. Now, what I want to say to that, a kind of advice, and additional advice I want to say about that is, since some of the reasons for this delay are self-imposed, those concerned can have a rethink on this and draw a new plan for their life, especially when restrictions are not affiliated to God in any way. Especially when restrictions are not affiliated to God, as in, it is not God that said you must not get married. You are just the one that had a plan, that had an ambition, that had something you are pursuing. When it's not affiliated to God in any way, some achievement could still be pursued and attained after marriage, especially when they are auxiliary ones, when they are just things you can just, when they are not the main ones. Getting married young is advantageous in all ramifications. It's advantageous in all ramifications. Now, let us go to this second reason is very pivotal, is very important. In fact, it is one of the reasons why many people are experiencing delay in marriage. Please pay rapt attention. It's very, very important. And what is this? Character defect. Character defect. Character defect. There are many beautiful, charming young ladies and handsome young men with ugly demeanors, with ugly characters. They are beautiful facially, but they lack good manners. I spoke at length about the importance of character, in some of the live sessions and some of my messages. I've spoken at length about the importance of character. Many promising singles have been dropped at the edge of marital fortune, all because of their characters. Many promising singles, beautiful ladies, have been dropped at the edge of marital fortune just because they lack good characters. Just because they lack good characters, they have been dropped. They have been, the relationship ended. Some of them are they nag, some of them scream, some of them are temperamental. They are too emotional. The beauty of a woman is not actually in her face, but in her characters. Let me repeat that again. The beauty of a woman is not actually in her face, but in her character. Oh my God. A pastor friend of mine wrote a small article titled, Where Are You? Where are you? Someone is looking for you, but you can't be found. You are not around. My sister, where are you? My brother, where are you? I mean, you are asking, what kind of question is that? Just follow me. You are missing. You are not around. Where are you? Now, when that person that should have married you came around, he or she didn't see you. You are wondering, just follow. He or she didn't see you. Not that you were not physically there, but the version of you that the person really needs is not available. The marital conduct he is looking for was not in you. All the qualities needed to discern you among many others, just as it was found in Rebekah, which distinguished her from the remaining daughters of the land, were missing. You are yet to be found. If good qualities that make for a successful marriage and relationship are still missing in your life, then you can't be found. If good qualities, if good attributes are still missing in your life, then you are yet to be found. You are missing. As a young lady, the person that would have married you came around and you started screaming. Maybe the person, there's a party or a kind of gathering somewhere, and there's this guy, in disguise. You don't know who he is. Maybe he just traveled from overseas, or is a quite big man, and maybe he came with a friend, or he's at one corner, and he was observing the way the whole thing is going, and maybe immediately he saw you. He had something about you. He had a feeling about you that I love this lady. I would like to ask her out or pray about her, probably if she's God's will for my life. But maybe something happened in the course of the event or the party, and you flared up. You started screaming. You got temperamental. You started, nagging. And people were saying, it's enough, okay, we are sorry. And you said, leave me alone. And the guy was shocked. Say, really? I thought this lady would have a beautiful character because she had a beautiful face. But, you are not even aware that there's someone somewhere looking at you. You are not aware that the response you put up, the reaction you gave, is giving somebody a wrong impression about you. It's altering what could have been a destiny, link up. Where are you? When that person who would have asked you out, probably in your office, when that person who would have, connected you to another person, when they came around, you messed up. You started misbehaving. You thought you were just being realistic or just being real. But because that version of you is not what they wanted, then they concluded that we couldn't find you. Where are you? Character defect has caused the delay for many singles, both men and women inclusive, especially women. Especially women. Hmm. Now, you are yet to be found if good qualities that make for a successful marriage and relationship are still missing in your life. Then you can't be found. The version of you that the man wants to marry is not someone that fight. No man wants to marry a fighter. One of the things an average man is looking for is rest of mind, peace of mind. See, if the only reason why an average man wants to get married is because of sex, he can always get that somewhere else if he's not a child of God. Sex is one of the cheapest things in today's world. If it is because of the food we eat, I mean, you can imagine the number of restaurants and canteens out there. Yes, they might be pricey, but they have good stuffs. But there's a certain thing that every man truly desires to get from their wife. That is giving them rest of mind. No man wants to marry a woman that is ready to fight at the slightest provocation. No man wants to marry a woman that before anything happens, she's already at the top of her voice screaming. No man wants to marry a woman that is always nagging. No man wants that, because the nature of the life of a man is that a man is always, a man often goes through hectic times. An average man, is prone or given to work. He leaves home early in the morning, comes back home late at night. Maybe while coming back, maybe if it's a Christian branch, the church, maybe there's a service or a program, and comes back home. He has gone out all day since the morning. Or even if he doesn't really go out that much, maybe he's working from home, or maybe due to the nature of his job. You know, Men are thinkers, and for anybody to be able to think effectively, they must be in the right frame of mind. Men are logical beings, but here are you, even among your siblings, you always want to win every argument. Your voice is always at the top, you know, and someone has come around. God has orchestrated that, bring it together, that connection, that margin point, but you fumbled because the version of you that is to be married is not that version that still fights. It's not that version that still nags. That version that won't just accept that she is at fault or is at fault. Hmm. The version of you that the man wants to marry is not someone that fights. It's not someone that is impatient. It's not someone that is materialistic and nags. So you are not around until you make necessary adjustment. Hmm. You are not around. You are missing until you make necessary adjustment. The version of you that God will grant the godly, established, and hardworking man or woman is not the you that has not been broken and worked on by God Himself. You see a lot of singles out there, unfortunately, they deceive themselves. They say, "Oh God, give me a fully made man. Give me a son of yours. Give me a daughter of yours." God doesn't have problem in answering that question. But the question is this: are you sure you can handle God's son? Somebody God has invested in over the years, somebody that has developed himself academically, spiritually, financially, emotionally, relationally. But here are you. You have not developed yourself as a single. You cannot wear a suit over a bedroom slippers. It doesn't go. You wear a suit over a brand new shoe or a good shoe. Whenever you are praying that the Lord should give you a good partner, the Lord should give you somebody that will be the love of your life, somebody that will treat you well. The question is, are you a good partner in the first place? Do you think because you need to understand the fact that just as you are praying to have a good partner, the other person too is praying to have a good partner. So are you a good partner? If you are someone else, will you marry you? Yes. And you knowing everything about yourself, your sleeping habits, your spending habits, your laziness, and you know everything about yourself, and you are somebody else, will you marry you? Yes. Will you marry you? So do you think you are the version that man is looking for, or that woman is looking for? Think about it. Think about it. Every time you pray, God, give me this, give me that. God is saying, I don't have problem in doing that. But the challenge I have is this. Are you the version that can handle that thing? Are you the version that if I give that thing to, I wouldn't regret that I wouldn't regret giving it to you? This is very important. This is very important. So God will not just throw a young man that has been working on, he has taken through a lot of process in life, into the hand of a lady that has not developed herself, into the hand of a woman that doesn't have what it takes to handle the man. So thus you are not around, still asking the same question, where are you? In your church, where are you? I'm not saying you are not a member, your name is not in the register, but where is your impact? In your place of work, where are you? Where is your impact? In your family, where is your impact? In the house you live, where is your impact? In your neighborhood, where is your impact? Where are you? We are not seeing those things. Those things are what tells your good works. Your good works is what tells people that you are around. The lives you have impacted, the lives you have encouraged is what tells us you are around. Where are you? We are looking for you. God is looking for you. Your generation is looking for you. Your prospective partner is looking for you. Where are you? Now, what are the possible solutions I want to give to that can help us, especially those of us who have not upgraded ourselves in every sphere of life? Yet we keep crying and telling God, God, where is that person and where is that blessing? That God is saying, it is not this current version of you that can have access to the answer you are requesting for, except you upgrade yourself, except you unlearn some certain things, except you relearn some certain things. Where are you? Now listen, take note of the character deficiency people complain about you. If, let's say, out of 100% of the people that surrounds you, about 85 to 90% of them are always complaining about the same thing, you need to go and sit down and think about that thing. Why is this person, why does my mom complain about this, my sibling complain about this, all my friends complain that I have this weakness or I need to work on these things? Why are they all wrong? Is it possible they all hate me? Take note of the character deficiency people complain about you, especially those closest to you. Like I was reading a post, on Facebook by a longtime school friend, and it was a powerful post. What was the post about? He said, appreciate, do not appreciate the friend. No, he said, do not appreciate the enemy. No, do not appreciate the friend. No, I'm trying to get the way the person put it, but this was the way he said. He said, appreciate the enemy that shows that he doesn't like you. Appreciate that enemy. At least the person is coming out clear that I'm having something against you and I don't want to have something to do with you. He said, appreciate that enemy than a friend who hugs you but has the intention of hurting or harming you. Because you wouldn't know. That was what Jesus told Judas. He said, friend, thou betrayest the Son of Man with a kiss. With a kiss. There are some people who you have offended, and they have made up that they are going to get back at you. They are going to hurt you, but they still keep laughing with you. They still keep joking with you. They still call on you. They still call to check on you. You still discuss, and you are relaxed. Now, wow, I'm in the midst of my people. These are good friends. Yet they are looking for the slightest opportunity to strike you down. But that post is saying, appreciate an enemy. Will let you know I'm your enemy. At least you know he's your enemy. You have to avoid him. You have to excuse yourself. Wherever you see him, you have to be careful around he or she. But here is a friend who has ill intention, who comes to you, who laughs with you, who plays with you, but is looking for that opportunity to stab you. So appreciate the enemies that come out and say, I am your enemy, I hate you, speaking ill about you. Appreciate them, because there are some who have more, more sinister intention, more dangerous, plans to bring you down. Yet they are still laughing with you, because it will be very difficult for you to detach yourself from such kind of people. You would have even released more information that will help them to carry out their bidding on you, because you thought they were friends. So what are we trying to say? Appreciate people who are close to you and they tell you the truth. This is something we don't appreciate, especially as Africans. You see somebody calling you and saying, I think you need to work on this thing. I think you need to stop behaving this way. The first person said it, the second person said it, another person said it. Oh no. There must be something you are not seeing that they are seeing. So take note of the character deficiency people complain about you, especially those closest to you. Read books that teaches you on how to build good character, and pray to God to work on you, not minding your tears. Pray to God to work on you, not minding your tears. This is very important, because once character is lost, all is lost. Pray to God to work on you. Lord, everywhere I have character deficiency, begin to work on me. Begin to work on me. Everywhere I have character deficiency, begin to work on me. Have mercy on me, Lord. Begin to work on me. Have mercy on me, Lord. Pray about it, because if there's anything marriage is all about, it's about character. The character you take into your marriage and with which you run your marriage will determine the durability of your marriage. Character is everything. Once character is lost, all is lost. And what is the third thing as we round up? No, the third thing now is disobedient to God's leading. Disobedient to God's leading. I guess I may have to add one more, just as a tip for those who stumbled on this video and who watched it all through. I'm going to add one more after this. But let's take disobedience to God's leading. This often takes place when a brother or sister deliberately reject the partner chosen for them by God, probably because the individual doesn't look like what they had always dreamt of or anticipated. This often happens when God sends a brother to a sister, and the sister looks at the brother and says, the way you see me, do I look like someone who wants to go into marriage and start suffering? Please don't ever approach me again. Yes, God lets a brother to you, God led a sister to you, that they have to be your partner, and you abuse them. You told them they should never try that with you again. We have seen two life stories, cases. I'm going to share some with you now. Rejecting God's leading. See, if somebody walks up to you and says, I have prayed, the Lord is leading me and is telling me that you're going to be my wife. I mean, it's simple. He said the Lord. If you are a child of God, go back to the Lord and confirm what he has said. If the Lord truly spoke to him or her, then the Lord is going to reveal it to you. This is very important. It's very, very important. So tell the Lord. I mean, because those that have approached them are different from the kind of picture they have had or what they have always anticipated. Yes. So many people just say, no. I've always dreamt of marrying a tall man, tall, dark, and handsome man. Or I've always dreamt or anticipated I'm going to marry a fair lady, a very fair lady. Yellow like maybe purple or what do you call it? And now God is sending, a chocolate lady in complexion. And you are saying, no. This is against what I've always anticipated, what I've always dreamt of, what I've always desired. And you reject God's offer for you, God's best choice for you. You reject it. Now, listen. This disobedience sometimes leads to many years of delay and searching without divine assistance of God. And most time the brother or sister who had disobeyed God's leading usually do not always see suitors who are better than the person they rejected. If God sends someone your way as your partner and you reject the person, listen, it's possible you will never see someone again who is a child of God or who will have the attribute of that person you have rejected. It is very, very possible. Very, very possible. Hmm. This was the case of a well known sister to me, whom a Christian brother proposed to during their college years, sometimes in the year 2000. But she snubbed him, and ever since then, until some years ago, she never saw a decent and godly young man to marry. After much prayers and intercessions, she eventually got married to a man, a old man who had lost his first wife. And the man is in his late 60s, while she's just in her early 40s. Many young ladies are following this trend today. They size up a man and insult him all because he is proposing to them. If the man you are ignoring truly heard from God, if the man you are ignoring, the man you are abusing, truly heard from God, was truly led of God to come and meet you to propose to you, and you sought the man, listen to the repercussions. You might never find his type again. And even if God will consider you, he might give you an aging widower, maybe a old man who just lost his wife, and still wants to get married. An aging widower whom you will then gladly receive. Never joke with any man who tells you he heard from God over a matter. Never joke with any man. If a brother walks up to you and says, "The Lord is leading me to you, my sister, that you are going to be my partner," or of course, it's a man that has the right to propose. Don't insult the person who say you to me. How can God lead you to me? Are you okay? This is why some men are always afraid if they want to propose. They're like, I don't know what she's going to say. If someone walks up to you and says the Lord is leading him to you as a sister, well, I expect him to give you time, of course. If not, you tell him, okay, give me time, let me confirm from God. You pray about it. If you have friends, or even men of God, you can tell them to assist you in prayer. And if truly it is the will of God, you are going to arrive at the same destination. Now, what are the possible solutions? Now, if you are guilty of this message, perhaps you stumble on this video and you are still unmarried, but you have gotten to the age of maritable age, or you are even overripened. You are in your late 30s or early 40s or even middle 40s, and nobody is coming. But as you listen to this message, you are now recounting, the number of those who have asked you out and who are truly ready to get married. But because you look at their level, you look at the way they are, you rejected them. Probably you even spite them. You spoke ill of them. Hmm. If you are guilty of this message, I have a question for you. Did you reject the brother's proposal mainly because of his current status, or because the Lord told you that he is not his will for you? What was the reason for rejecting the brother's proposal? Was it because the Lord told you? If the Lord told you, then you have made the best decision ever. But most of the time, it's not. This one's not about the Lord. You just tell yourself, this one is what I can see. This was because of his status. I'm not ready to marry a man of this kind of status. No, 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 no. Like I've always said, all the great men we have, both in the secular world and even in ministry, when they started out, they didn't look like who they are today. Dr. Samadi didn't look like who he is today. Dr. Paul Eneche, I heard it from his mouth. He said when they got married, they were sleeping in the hospital quarters or something. Himself and his wife, they're both trained medical doctors. And he said for 13 years they lived in rented apartments. So they didn't, all the things they have today, it didn't start with them. And it's those things you are looking at to make your decisions maritally. Marriage is for a lifetime. You have to be careful with the decisions you make. It's not something you can just think and just make from your head. You need to consult God. This is very, very important. Very, very important. So, for you that has rejected a brother's proposal in the past, Did you rejected it because it is God's will? I mean, did you rejected it because God told you that it is not His will for you, or will you rejected it and said and you told yourself, I don't need to pray. How can this poor man be God's will for my life? How can he? About 25, 30 years ago, was Mark Zuckerberg a rich man, the owner of Facebook? He obviously not. But some years past, the vision he had began to speak. And today, look at Facebook everywhere. Look at all that we do via Facebook all over the world. So don't despise anybody. The Bible says, he who mocketh his neighbor sinneth, in the book of Proverbs. When you are mocking somebody, especially as a sister, you're saying you look at you. I heard of a true life story that we were told by one of our great men of God. He said when he asked out this particular lady, when he was still a young man, when he was planning to get to settle down maritally, that there's this woman that rejected him and that even abused him. And now, before the man died, he died at the age of, I think, 105 years. He said, till that woman died, she didn't have any suitor. She didn't have any suitor. She didn't have anybody else to marry. So you have to be careful. 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 When God is leading somebody to, perhaps you are even the one that prayed as a brother, and the Lord said, that is your sister. You say, what? This sister, I will marry this sister. This sister doesn't have all the physical endowment I need in a woman who I've been anticipating about. No, I can't marry this woman. You're going to regret it. I pray you will not regret it, Jesus' name. Yes, I pray you will not regret it, Jesus' name. So, if the former is the reason why you rejected his proposal, it is better you have a change of heart and pray for the grace to embrace your destiny, because the future is greater than what you see today. And if you know you are guilty of this wrong and you are now suffering the consequences, all you have to do is to pray for mercy and the second chance. If you knew that a lot of good people have approached you, especially in your early 20s, once early 20s, your middle 20s to your, your late 20s to your early 30s. Those are the times that as a woman, men can be asking you out. Once you start getting to 40, and everything, your facial appearance and looks, they are looking somehow. Before you know it, most men will not be asking you out. Most men will not be approaching you. Yes, and we have more women in the world than men. So for no reason, even if after praying the Lord told you a particular brother is not his way for you, you will tell the brother politely and encourage him that at the right time the Lord will bring his own wife, his own partner. Not that you wash him now, you reject it, you don't even bother to pray. If what the brother said that you are God's way for his life is the right thing. So if you know that in the past a lot of good people, well-meaning people, or even Christians, brothers, have approached you to ask you out, and they had the intention of settling down with you maritally, but you snubbed them, you spoke ill of them. If you know you have done that, please create out time, to seek for God's mercy, to seek for His face, to plead for His mercy, because if not, one might suffer that consequence for the rest of his life. Now, the last one I want to put as a bonus, and I said I was going to put as a bonus, is very, very interesting. In fact, it is one of the major reasons, if I was to grade the reasons why people, don't get married early, out of 100%, I think I'm going to give this 80%, if not more. Yes, I think I'm going to give it 80%, if not more. Now, let me go deep into it so you see what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? Unwillingness to start small. That is the last reason or causes for marital delay. Unwillingness to start small. The Bible says, despise not the days of little beginning. That is Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 9. Do not despise the days of little beginning. If you pray and the Lord says, okay, this is your partner, especially as a brother or as a sister, they may something rosy for now. But if you hold on to the love that exists between both of you, especially you hold on to the Lord Jesus Christ, I can tell you, He will make a way. As the marriage continues, look at Evangelist Magbamley. He celebrated 36 years of his wedding, of his marriage. 36 years is not a child's play. But I stumbled on his post on Twitter, and he said he remembered when he started. He had nothing of his own. They started out by faith. They started out by faith. But look at where they are today. So instead of you washing that brother or abusing him, if the brother prays and he said the Lord is leading him to you, and you as a young lady, as a sister, you also prayed, you told your spiritual leaders or your parents, they prayed and they saw something positive, then regardless of your financial status for now, or your economical status, just give it a go ahead, just start. And as you start, things will begin to work out. We have seen this thing happen to great people, in and around our lives. So the Bible says, do not despise the days of little beginning. The unwillingness to start small with a man and raise a family has made many single ladies to create many unreasonable standards and expectations on financial status, levels of achievement, physical appearance, physique, etc. Hmm. Many unreasonable standards and expectations on financial status, level of achievement, physical appearance, physique, etc., which they must see in a man if they will ever give him an audience, let alone negotiation marriage. All these things have delayed many singles. If you call an average single an average, you know, uh, you know, a young lady, that what is the picture of the kind of man you're anticipating to marry, you have been praying to marry, you will see he's going to say, wow, he must be a man that loves, that has money, that is gainfully employed, all those good things. We're not saying those things are bad, but you are going to see something very interesting very soon. Hey, he must be a man that has a car. Do you have a car? Is it a car for you to have a car? Is it a car? It must be a man that lives in maybe a duplex, in one of the best places in Lagos State. You, how many houses do you have? Is it a crime for you to have? Is it a crime for you to have? Unrealistic expectation. The expectation of a lot of singles are too high. A lot of people have come to them who are God sent, God, anticipating that they are going to say yes and start a marital union with them. But they said no. They are looking for that person, that guy that has everything ready made. Like I said, it's not bad to meet your partner having everything ready made, but it has side effect. You can't lay claim of the riches of the world. At times, some of them are tempted to treat their partners as nothing, as rags, because they felt, I have had this money, I have had the influence, I've had everything before you came into my life. Yes, I've had everything before you came into my life. But imagine you married your partner as a young lady, you started with your husband, and you are building life together. You are building life together. You are building life together. All the challenges, you weather the storm together. Your bond will be very strong. Your family bond will be very, very strong. Will be very, very strong. I watched a video, a short video footage that went viral some weeks ago, and that video is very, very educating. What transpired there? you know this young couple, they used to walk past a particular junction, and anytime they see these three men in black seated, not speaking to themselves, not saying anything, and this wife, this newly wedded wife, I've been wondering, why are these three men sitting there? What are they always doing? So she told her husband that, I want to go and find out the mission of these three men. So when he got there, she greeted them and asked them, what's your name? The first one said, I am Joy. What's your name? The second one said, I am Happiness. What's your name? The third one said, I am Money. Money. Everybody needs money. So and they told her that she can make a decision to choose which of them that she will like, that should go with her. So she had to go back to her husband, that they discussed, what should we do? We need joy, we need happiness, and we need money. Which of them should we pick? I mean, that was it's something that is dicey. And both of them concluded and said, we are going to choose joy. Joy? So when they chose joy, and joy stood up, I was about going with them. Money and happiness followed. And I asked, they said, but we chose one. And I said, anywhere joy is, among a newly wedded couple, or maybe your wedding is just a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, once there's love, both happiness and money will follow suit. When there's love, when there's joy, both happiness and money will follow suit. So do you see now? So if you're a young lady watching this, because fortunately, unfortunately, most young ladies are those concerned in this case, reduce your expectation, reduce your standard. I'm not saying you should lower your standard, but I'm saying don't be asking ridiculous things that you have never seen anybody had or attain, maybe in your family or your whatever. Don't be asking ridiculous things that could cost the young man maybe about 3 years of his savings and salary. Yes, don't be asking such kind of high standard demands. Now, some ladies even go as far as asking for the kind of apartment the guy lives. Of course, I'm not saying this is bad. And its location before they will give their response. This selfish, motivated decision has led a woman into what a writer calls husband scarcity. When every young woman is having a high demand, every young lady has the list of qualities he wants in a man, blah blah blah. And every young lady, every single stool want, for example, let's imagine we are currently in a hall, and then a young man is placed in front, or let's say two young men, and the first one is a Christian, and the second is a non-Christian, and they ask you to choose as a Christian. Which will you choose? You will choose that of a Christian, isn't it? Yes, of course. So what am I trying to say is that every single out there, they have a high standard, high expectation. Okay, the man I want to marry must have a car, must be gainfully employed, blah blah blah. So if, let's say, about 100,000 ladies, all of them are saying we want the man that has this, and out of, let's say, about 10 men, maybe in a gathering, maybe we have, let's say, we have 200,000 women, and they have to choose a man, and all of them wanted that single man that has all those good demeanors, all those good attributes. All of them wanted the man, and they are about 10, and 10 people are wanting the same thing. The question is, because they all cannot have the same man, one person will marry the same man, and there will be, husband scarcity. It's not that we don't have people who are ready to settle down as young men, but because in the lady circles, in the sphere of the women, they don't see them as such. They don't see them as such. So to them, any man that doesn't have a car, that is not gainfully employed, that doesn't have all those good things, to them is not even existing. It's not even a man. So everybody is now running towards that single man that has everything ready made. So to them, everybody now is now running to it. So once this reality continues, husband scarcity will become inevitable. Now, what is husband scarcity? Husband scarcity is a condition in which the kind and level of the type of thousand desired by an average woman is scarcely available. By an average woman, most of the attributes you ask for the man, that you are expecting a man to fulfill it in your life, there are things that you just need to really, really think about. Yes, you just really need to look into it very well. Every woman wants a good husband is good. Every woman wants a wealthy man. Every woman wants, a man that will not hurt her. Every woman wants every good thing that can be found in the life of a man. But the truth I'm trying to enact here is this: every young lady out there, even if we have that man, we now bring a man and say this man has all the attributes. Of course, every lady will want the man, to be theirs, to be hers. Every lady will want that. And the question is, are we not going to divide the money into 10? No. So as far as those 10 women are concerned, or 10 young ladies, that single man that has all they need, they are all ready to, go with him, or that he should be their husband. So the question is, the remaining 9 people, what happens to them? Because we have 10 of them, but we have just that one man who has those good attributes. That one man. So, and everybody wants to have that kind of man. So what happens is, once the first woman has it, then there is husband scarcity, because the remaining 9, there is not that they cannot eventually attain to the state, or even better, of the person everybody is clamoring for, but it may take time. It may not be immediately, and that is what we are talking about. So husband scarcity is the condition in which the kind and level of the type of husband desired by an average woman is scarcely available. This condition has become one of the challenges faced by many single ladies today. If you go to prayer houses, majority of the prayer offered by singles are prayer for life partner, and this calls for concern. If you go to prayer houses, vigils on the mountain, most ladies or young women you see there, they are fighting for you know you know they are fighting for this single person. Mm. So this condition has become one of the challenges faced by many single ladies today. So if you go to a prayer house in mountain, everybody is praying, God, my partner, God, who is the person you're going to use for me? Where's my husband? Everybody is praying. And the truth of the matter is, there are some well-to-do men who are children of God, who are promising, who have a vision. But most ladies are not seeing them, because they don't have a car today, because they don't have a name today. Go and read through the history. When Dr. Miles was married, he was a nobody. I think in one of his books he said he even lived with his grandparents' house. His in-laws' house. The mother of the wife, his mother-in-law, they lived in their house after their wedding. But even today, yes, look at where the Lord has taken him to. So, casting our minds back to the time of our mothers and grandmother, was there really much of a husband scarcity problem? If you ask yourself, in the last 40-50 years, when our parents, were just coming on board, was there really husband scarcity? In those olden days, the days of our grandparents, grandma, grandpas, was there really husband scarcity? I tell you the truth, there's not, because if you make your findings, you notice that some of our grandmas married at the age of 17, at the age of 18, 19, 20, or maybe 23, 24. They don't used to long before they get married. A grandparent, go and make your findings. If you still have a grandparent, go and chat with her and say, mama or dad or grandpa, when did you get married during your own time? And they will tell you immediately, maybe after finishing what the level of education they could afford, or whatever they did, that they proceeded. The question is this: since during the days of our parents, there's nothing like much of husband scarcity, or maybe there were more men than women then, or there was an adequate corresponding numbers of both, genders. But I don't think so. Maybe then the women had values. Maybe then the women had values and were prepared to build a home and not to pack into a built home. The single truth is that in the days of our parents, in the days of our grandparents, one of the reasons why some of them married early, why they didn't discriminate, why they didn't have so much high standard, is because they were not willing to pack into a built house, an already built house, an already prepared house. They were willing, to pack into a home that they will build, not the one that has already been built. They were prepared to build a home. They were prepared to build their marriage. They were prepared to, work hard and to cooperate with their husband or their partner to rebuild or to build a family that is going to stand the test of time, a family that will eventually, have all the needed. Hmm. So then a woman had values, and they were prepared to build a home and not pack into a built home. That was one of their reasons. Then once a young man comes of age and can at least feed himself and his wife, he goes out in search of a wife, and the woman, and the woman, and the woman really appreciates him and helps him to build a future. What I'm really trying to say, we created what we now see as husband scarcity for ourselves. We are the one that created it. This issue of husband scarcity, where there are a lot of young women out there, beautiful men, educated women, who don't have suitors. Of course, there may be spiritual reasons. I've spoken about those ones in the past, but generally speaking, now the reason why we have more men, you know, still staying, unmarried, even while some of them are hardworking, they have their jobs, but no woman is coming, is because most women in today's world, their standard is too high. What their father couldn't afford to give to them, they have insisted and made up their mind that it is their husband that must give it to them. That must give it to them. Hmm. Today, the reverse is the case. Ask an average lady to define her dream husband. After watching this video, if you are a young woman, you need to be frank with yourself. But just ask your fellow friends, or ask an average lady to define her dream husband. You hear things like he has to be tall, handsome, fair, and rich, own a house in an urban settlement at least, and be presentable, and then she had God's fearing in order not to sound so worldly. If you ask an average young lady, what is the picture, or can you give the description of the kind of husband you have been telling God, you have been praying you want to marry? You will say you must have all these things that I read. He must be tall, he must be handsome, he must be fair, he must be rich, he must have money, and he should have at least a house in the urban areas. They will not put that he must fear God, so that they will look as though they are carnal. You must have a house in a particular place. Hey, look at the mass, look at standard. This is the reason why many are still single while they experience marital delay. Until when you are ready to bring down your standard, because nobody starts climbing a step from above, they start from below. You still have everything your heart desired, everything your heart desires. You still have them. You still have them. If you are diligent, you still have them. Yes, but don't insist you must have them at the beginning of your life, at the beginning of your marital journey. Just be faithful and work closely with your husband, and in the process of time, the Lord will come through for both of you. So then check the number of ladies around you and the number of men that meet that standard. That is when a young man is saying that the kind of man she would like to marry is a tall, dark, handsome, and rich man. That's the kind of man that this lady wants to marry now. Now, the point is now that when you check around you, when you check around you, how many of those men do you have that have those attributes? And what is the quality of the men? You know, what is the quality of the men that these ladies are asking for? And the number of ladies around you to this number of men. We have more women in the world than men. So look at the numbers of all these ladies, and all of them saying we want the same thing. How will all of them get it? How will they get it? Hmm. Now, I cannot suffer in my father's house and then go and start suffering with a man again. That is what some ladies say. They say, I cannot suffer in my father's house and I will still have to go back and be suffering in a man's house. What a wonderful dream. What if from the beginning you have everything you want and there's no suffering in your marriage, and later in the marriage the table turns around Then comes suffering. Will you run away? No one prays for suffering. Nobody prays for suffering. But it is good to start small and end big. Now start big and end small. Oh, let me read that again. It is good to start big. It is good to start small and gradually one ends up in big. But it is bad to start big and end small. You started out with everything you wanted in life, the kind of life you wanted with your husband, there's car, there's money. You started at the top. But as the journey progresses, you now ended below. That will not be your portion in Jesus' name. But it is good. While you're just starting out in life with your husband, you know, you cooperate, you're always praying. Yes, you're always praying. You do that, you obey each other, you support each other. With time, everything you desire will begin to come your way. So everybody cannot have it at the same time, especially at the beginning of the journey. The problem is that the description majority of ladies give of their ideal man is virtually the same. The problem is that the description majority of the ladies give of their ideal man is virtually the same. When 1,000 ladies want the same kind of man, and the man that fits what they want is just one man, when 1,000 women, this is what they want. And the man that fits what they want is just one man. And the man can only pick one lady too. Then what becomes of 99 others? They simply start lamenting of husband's scarcity. Can you see? Another irony over time is that it is hard due to the faces of our, I mean, it is hard due to the face of our economy, the state of our economy, to find a man who is of a marriageable age, who possess all those things, these ladies want legally, except those involved in internet fraud, robbery, etc. You are looking for a young man who is just starting out in life, and that young man already has a car. I'm not saying someone that has a father somewhere that has made, they have made, huge billions of money from their various endeavors. But I'm talking about a young man that has nobody, that's just coming out in life, maybe in his 28 or 30s or whatever years. And you expect that man at that level of his life to have a gigantic car, to have a house in another city in Lagos State or wherever it may be in the world. You're expecting them, to still prepare themselves to be the best version of who they can be to you. So, how will this thing really work out? How will it work out? When 1,000 women wants to marry a single man, and of course, the man can only marry just one woman. So when he does that, what happened? What happened to the rest? There will be husband scarcity. Another irony over time that it is hard, like I told you, with this phase of economy, you see a young man that will have every of those things ready, except is into internet fraud or something demonic. So if you look around, majority of the ladies of substance, of good value and virtue, who are ready to build a home with a man who has prospect, are married and not complaining of husband scarcity. Who has prospect? So when you see a young lady, who is hardworking, who has developed herself to the level at which she could, and a young man is approaching that kind of lady, and the young man shares and sells his vision to that lady that I don't have much now, but I know as we continue this journey, things will begin to work out for us. You see, when you see a woman that married that kind of man, that woman has reduced the husband scarcity we have in the land, isn't it? Yes, she has. Because when she gets married to a man, then she is not among those still looking for men. And the reason why she gets married to such kind of a man is because she has a low standard. Her standard is not very high. You must have a car, you must have a house, you must have a house in university. A young man in his late 20s and early 30s, want him to have all those things, it's not possible at that level of his, except he inherited them because he's just starting out in life. He's just starting out in life. The easiest way to find a husband now is to change your view of who a husband is. A husband is that man God made and then saw that it may be hard for him to really actualize his purposes for making him without a help mate, and then made the woman and gave to him, and he felt complete and fulfilled. Marriage is not a poverty alleviation program. Let this be at the back of your mind. Marriage is not a poverty alleviation program. It is a mission of building a family of God here on earth. For those who see marriages as a way out of poverty, it is a way into bondage. Women are home builders, not home warmers. Don't confuse a man's path with his destiny, because where he is today may only be a route to where God has destined. Oh no. Hmm. This is serious. This is important. So, marriage is not a poverty alleviation scheme. No, 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 it's not. It's not, it's not, it's not, it's not. It's not. It's not. Another truth is that you may be the only fast means to a man's destination. It might be that it is when that man who is just coming up in life, who is still struggling, it may be that if he gets married to you as a woman, then things will start working out for him. Then he will start having good, opportunities in life. So you might just be the person his destiny is waiting for. Yes, you might be the fastest, you know, route to his destination. So another truth is that you will be the only fast means to that destination. Join in alleviating husband scarcity by picking the right values. I'm not saying that you should pick anyone that comes your way and talks of marriage. Not all men are husband materials. What I'm saying is that you should stop setting your standard on material acquisitions or physical appearance. Look beyond the physical. What makes a man who he is not what he owns or how he looks, it is what he is made of. And that which he is made of is most times not seen with the physical eyes. Only its effect can be seen. Yes. Marriage is a permanent thing. Whenever Whatever is seen is temporal, and that which is not seen is permanent. So, before I round up, I want to encourage you as a young lady. Could it be that the reason why you are still unmarried is because of a high standard? Go and review your standard. Let the will of God take charge. Some men are equally bent on marrying the lady that has all they desire in a woman. And once the devil notice this, he will send his agents who have those desired qualities flawlessly to them, and before they know it, they are trapped, simply because there's no finished partner anywhere. If you are looking for a finished partner that will have everything at the same time, you are lying, you are deceiving yourself, because even you don't have everything at the same time. Yes, you don't have everything, there are some things you still lack. Yes. So simply because there's no finished partner anywhere, all we have is raw or processing ones. Most times, God is calling you to build your mate into the kind of man or woman you desire. Most times, so you can help your mate to acquire the qualities you wish they had, but don't through godly mates. I'm not talking about encouraging your wife to start bleaching, using enlargement drugs, or going for surgeries in order for her to look like the woman you think would give you more sensual pleasure. Neither am I insinuating that you should start pressurizing your husband into the best practices in order for him to be able to give you a luxurious life like those full house wives you see in movies who live in a big mansion without doing anything. Is that the kind of thing you want? What I'm saying is that you can start working towards the development of any positive or good futures. You acquire it, and you'll be more proud and happier, because you didn't just found a finished product, but a processing one whom you cultivated, whom you cultivated into your taste and desire. Yes. Now, what is the possible solution before I round up. Pray against every desire or spirit of materialism, ego, and pride that doesn't want you to start small in marriage if need be. Also, always remember that as long as your mate is a child of God, vision driven, and hardworking, he will definitely grow in all ramifications of life as the year passes by. With time and your cooperation, you will both be able to achieve greatness in life and be able to conveniently acquire all the things you greatly desire at the inception of your marital journey. Because all we are doing today are seeds of prosperity for our future. Therefore, consider that proposal. Maybe someone has been proposing to you, my leader, my sister. Consider that proposal and be ready to go through life together with him or her, and great shall be your fortune in Jesus' name. Wow. So, conclusively, God has his own side and we equally have ours. He doesn't just want us to get married young, but he equally wants us to have children, our children, when we are young, so that we can have all the physical, spiritual, psychological, and mental strength to train them early in life. Children born to a young man are like sharp arrows to defend him. That is Psalms 127 verse 4, the Living Bible version. Psalm 127 verse 4, the Living Bible version. Student, you know, children born to a young man are like sharp arrows to defend him. That's what the Bible says. So what does that mean? It is the will of God that we get married when we are young or when we are young men. And in chapter 1, we saw that once you are age 20 to 25, you are in your youthful season of your life. Any man or woman within this age group is no longer a teenager, but a young man or young woman. This was why age 20 was the requirement age into the Israeli army in the land of Israel. You can see that in Numbers chapter 1, verse 1 to 3. So, how old are you? So, how old are you? And how late are you for marriage? There's a God who changes time and seasons. Therefore, this year can be your marital season. If you believe and you do the needful, this year can be your marital season. So, perhaps you have been, you know, rejecting proposals by those the Lord has appointed for you, all because you felt they don't meet up to your standard or your criteria. Please bring down your standard and go together. And with time, you will see that the Lord is good and He will surprise you in the name of Jesus. So thank you very much for joining in. I'm going to call it a wrap at this moment, and then I'll be seeing you next time by the grace of God. Bye for now. God bless you. Thank you.